The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
It's not every day you see someone defy Donald Trump directly to his face. But back in February, Governor Janet Mills did just that, and at the White House, no less. And Donald Trump threatened her, as you just saw, and the entire state of Maine for it. Well, today he made very good on that threat as Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that the Trump administration is suing Maine for not complying with the government's push to ban transgender athletes from women's sports. It comes just days after the administration threatened to cut off funding to the state's public schools and even their school lunch programs over this. Governor Mills hit back at his latest move in a statement saying, "This matter has never been about school sports or the protection of women and girls. As it has been claimed, it is about states' rights and defending the rule of law against the federal government bent on imposing its will instead of upholding the law." Melissa Murray is back with me. You know, Melissa, when I first heard this, I said, well, how many transgender athletes are playing sports in Maine? Because this obviously must be a big enough deal if the Attorney General is bringing a lawsuit on behalf of the United States government. We checked. The Maine Principals Association has said there are only 2 transgender athletes competing in girls' high school sports statewide this year out of tens of thousands of participants. So that leads me to Sherilyn Ifill's statement on Blue Sky. And she said they're suing Maine because the governor didn't behave, humble herself, before Trump in a public meeting. I have to believe that that is exactly why she's being sued, because two trans, like, this is not an issue.
I mean, yes, I think Janet Mills is essentially a quote unquote nasty woman. We haven't heard that term for a while, but I think that's probably how they might be talking about her right now. She was openly defiant. She told him that she would see him in court. And again, I think she has a pretty good case when she does go to court against this administration, because the federal government is essentially threatening to withhold all federal funding for education from Maine because it is arguing that Maine is violating Title IX, which is a federal anti-discrimination law that prohibits sex discrimination in education, on the view that the presence of those 2 transgender athletes violates those statutes. So again, 2 people, and we are apparently getting rid of the entire slate of federal funding for the entire state of Maine. So I think there would definitely be a question about whether those conditions are proportional, whether they are related to the overall goals for which the funding was allocated. All of these things, I think, would be litigated, and Governor Mills would have a pretty good case.
You know, the Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said that other states like Minnesota and California, they could be next. This makes me think about what we just heard Donald Trump say from that audio back in February. She said, we're going to follow state law. We're going to comply with the law. And he said, we are the law. And yeah. I don't want people to miss that, but the White House is actually not the law. Executive orders are not the same thing as legislation that is passed. Is he the law?
It didn't used to be. It didn't used to be. I mean, these are great points. I mean, Simone, just to think about this from an historical perspective, Janet Mills is talking about states' rights. Before we would have expected the people to be talking about states' rights to be talking about an entirely different set of priorities, and we would have been looking to the federal government to safeguard rights in the wake of those kinds of statements. Now everything is entirely flipped. And I do think this is a bit of political theater. Donald Trump knows that this was an issue that was a wedge issue in many parts of the country. There are many people who have real misgivings about the prospect of transgendered athletes competing in sports with women, or, this is something that gives them pause, even if it is glancingly few athletes who are actually affected. But the idea that you would defund an entire state of all funds for education. So this is money for school lunch. This is money for students with individual education plans, students with special needs. You're taking all of that away because you're essentially trying to force this wedge issue that literally affects 2 athletes in this entire state. I mean, there must be a better way. And typically, the way this often has worked is the state and the Department of Education work together. Now that we don't apparently have a functioning or robust Department of Education, that might be harder, but that was kind of the point of having these administrative agencies, to be able to do this kind of work and bring recalcitrant states into compliance on whatever issue and to negotiate. And there can't be negotiation with this administration. I think we're seeing that.